good afternoon, and good night. Wherever you are around the world, hello, and welcome to another special edition of the Transportation Hub Commentary. I am your host with the most, N to the O to the R to the M to the A to the N. And what are we going to talk about today, my beautiful Hub Knights? And I've been wanting to do this for a while now, ever since it came out. Ever since they had the meetings and they did the corporate plans for the plan to modernize NYCT, is the fast forward, the plan to modernize New York City Transit. Now this presentation slides alongside with the presentation itself came out on May 23rd, 2018, and it was unveiled by our very own New York City Transit's own, President's own, Andy Byford. And I want to read you something right here real quick before we get on to the video. But before we start it off, look at that beautiful newly R179 J train created by Bombardier. Now, to be honest, I am a huge fan of Bombardier, and I enjoy all that they do. I love how I love the train models that they make, as well as the aircraft models that they make as well. And look at this train. This train is beautiful. If you guys have not rode inside an R179 yet, you have no idea what you're missing out on. Despite all the setbacks and the errors and having the clock reset back in November and December 2017, back in November and December of last year, when the train started rolling out in service, when they did that 30-day revenue test at the time, and that to reset the clock and the testing has to start all over again. But none of that's happening anymore, and it's really sad that they were cut out from the R211 contract order, which has now been awarded, to Kawasaki. All three orders has been awarded to Kawasaki. But with NYCT, I see big opportunities for Bombardier coming their way. They will have bigger opportunities on their own. Don't worry. Their time will come. Their time will come. Anyways, let's read this letter from the President. In July of 2017, New York State Governor Andrew M. Cuomo placed Metropolitan Transportation Authority under a state of emergency. This drastic but necessary act starkly highlighted the plight of once a great transit system. A series of high-profile incidents throughout early 2017 exposed an accelerating decline of punctuality and reliability of New York subway systems, along with a plummeting reputation and increasing customer, media, and stakeholder dissatisfaction. New Yorkers wondered how things could have possibly come to this, but New Yorkers is renowned for a way it stares down a crisis and its legendary ability to triumph over adversary. This is a city that came back from the spears of the 1970s financial crisis that kept its resolve after 9/11. Transit has been in crisis before. In the 1970s, system ridership was in steep decline. New Yorkers turned their back in droves on dirty, graffiti-scarred, dangerous subways, where service breakdown had became the usual. Ay ay ay. In the 70s and 80s, graffiti was the #1 reason for decline of ridership in subways. The #1 reason. And back at the time, graffiti on the subway was very popular at the time too. Like, it was crazy. Graffiti outside of the train car, graffiti inside of the train car. Like, it was just nasty and hectic as hell. If I were riding the subway in the 70s and 80s, I wouldn't ride in there either. I would rather drive my car than ride in that dingy old subway. Like, nobody wants to ride in the train. Nobody wants to ride in the train where you see all types of graffiti and shit graffiti and shit on top of the advertisement boards, on the advertisement boards itself, on the seats, on the train doors, on the windows. Like, no way. And another thing, if subway police if subway police was investigating and being on vandalizers who vandalized the subway graffiti at the time in the 70s, then there wouldn't be a reason for this decline in ridership. Because if you weren't punctual back then in the 70s as you are now, then the subway cars back then in the 70s and 80s would not look as nasty and dingy as it did back then. It would have looked clean, fresh, and new as the newer cars that we have right now. The subway rose from those challenges, and it can do so again. While the 1980s action plan successfully turned the subway around, and while the current subway action plan will stabilize it, the task and the opportunity this time are far greater. Our bus network faces its own challenges. Ridership has steadily declined over the past 10 years. Service is reduced to accommodate low ridership, but this makes affected routes even less attractive, causing the cycle to repeat and become chronic. Now, sorry, my throat. Byford mentioned earlier, back last month, that that's that Sunday and Saturday service will increase on certain routes. Some services will see increase during the midday and evening rush hours, while others will experience increase in service throughout the entire day, either on a Saturday or a Sunday. If you want to know more information about that, as well as some trains, as well as some northbound, southbound, eastbound, westbound trains seeing increase in services in a different time frame, you can see all of that when I put the link to the MTA article down below in the description box. And as for all you guys who have been wondering what happened to my blog, it has been last year that I wrote a blog. But don't worry, I'll have something ready for you guys on my Transportation Hub blog. Because midway throughout the month of June, I will be having the blogs ready, up and running again. And this will be the first blog of 2018. My first blog of 2018 will talk about and feature everything that has happened throughout the first half of 2018, from January all the way up until now, which is June. Meanwhile, the third arm of NYCT's service, Access-a-Ride, ever faces ever mounting logistical crisis and exacerbated by aging population and continued but slow progress in making the subway more accessible. For those of you who don't know what Access-a-Ride is for people who are wheelchair bound, who are unable to ride a bus or a subway. Well, they can ride a bus. It's dependent on how the congestion level inside the bus are. But Access-a-Ride is to provide service for subway stations that are not ADA accessible. That's what Access-a-Ride is there for. If you need to go to a certain subway station stop that doesn't have elevators, both outside and on the mezzanine platform, that's when Access-a-Ride comes in. They'll pick you up and drop you off ready to go. Simple as that. New Yorkers are fed up. The board of elected officials demand action, and the burden is borne by NYCT employees who try to deliver quality service against all odds. It is with these factors that this plan is written. When I took on this role, I did so knowing that it will be the toughest transit job in the world. Decades of underinvestment cannot be corrected overnight. As I said when my appointment was announced, what isn't there mere thinking, but a mere few tweaks here and there? And what has sustained is investment on a massive scale that we are to deliver New Yorkers the service they deserve and the transit system this city and state needs. While an immediate priority stabilize the subway via evacuation of the subway action plan to arrest the decline in bus ridership and making existing facilities work better with those accessibility challenges, we need to go further. Now is the time to think big and transform our network so for our New Yorkers. I believe that New Yorkers want more just to return to reliability of yesteryear. The world's greatest city needs world-class transit, and this plan will deliver exactly that. And people, those were the esteemed words written in an esteemed letter by our lovely, esteemed New York City Transit Andy Byford in May of 2018. Enough talking from me. Let's get this commentary moving forward. The greatest city in the world relies on a transit system in a state of emergency. Every month, the pressure in our system grows. Meanwhile, our customers feel like all they do is wait. Yes, I know that. I know that. Like, this is New York. One of the top, not one of the top, no, the top greatest city in the world. We need we need to be more like England. We need a transit system more like England or Japan because I mean not Japan, I'm sorry. Like China because they're ahead of the times. They have a nice ass transit system. Sorry. New train cars, new sliding doors that opens along with the train doors, new train announcements, new everything. And like I know this because I'm gonna spitball and say probability here. Only only nearly 70% of the subway lines are either are part of a CBTC line, which is 20% to be honest, or just have new technology trains running on their line. And from this picture right here, I can tell you right now, that is the F and G lines. This is the R160F train, probably heading towards into Manhattan from Brooklyn via the Gowanus Canal. And the night sky looks beautiful too, I'm not gonna lie. And look at that building, it looks nice over there too. Yeah. The fast forward plan will turn transit in New York around quickly and safely. Okay, I'm not gonna doubt you on that, but let's just see if you can stick to your words and put your money where your mouth is. And look at these people inside a crowded, congested car. That is not okay. What is this? No, I experienced congestion on a subway, and this in the picture right here is nothing compared to what it's like either riding on the IRT Lex, my favorite line by the way, the E line, mostly crowded, the A and C lines, definitely crowded, and so on and so forth. This is just a tip of the iceberg, and that is nothing compared to what the other lines experience. And the worst train line that has just as much that is overpacked and overly congested during rush hours is the E subway line. For those of you who don't know the E train line, the E train line is a link between Queens and Manhattan, and it is very crowded. both during the AM and PM rush hours, and it's very nasty. NYCT needs to modernize from top to bottom to refocus on customer experience, to deliver large-scale investment in infrastructure, to overhaul internal process, to shift culture, and I believe that Crew's working on the Myrtle Viaduct back in either February or March or April, right before the April 30th grand reopening of the Myrtle Viaduct. In the first 5 years, state-of-the-art state-of-the-art signal system on 5 additional lines, over 650 new subway cars, more than 50 accessible stations, state-of-the-good art repair work on more than 150 stations, over 1,200 CBTC equipped cars, and redesign of bus routes of all 5 boroughs, new fare payment system, and 2,800 new buses. Well, as you can see in this picture right here is the mock-up of the R211, which was portrayed back on the Hudson Yards 34th Street station back in December of 2017. Yeah, and about those 650 new subway cars, you better have, I already know you're already going to have something to replace the R46s, and that's the R211. But you're going to have to get new subway cars in the next 5, 10, 20 years, 20 plus years down the line to replace, and listen to this, to replace the R62s and the R62As and its Division B counterparts, the R68s and the R68As. Now the R62 and the R62As and the R68s and the R68As made its debut in the NYCT subway system back in the, back from the early to mid 80s. Years after the debut of the R46s back in 1976. So if you want to get new subway cars, you better have a new technology replacement for those train model cars that I just mentioned. Yeah, 2,800 new buses. Like, you better order more buses because as I reviewed and accessed back in the first day of this year, when I did the bus forward plan commentary, we're projected to have either 17 or 18 new SBS routes within the next 10 years or so. So in order to accommodate the arrival of new SBS routes, with new SBS routes comes new buses. So MTA better be on their game plan and order those new buses. Look at the skyline of the R188. This train is not in service. This train is probably heading back to the Corona yard. Let's look at it. Let's look at that train. Look at the skyline that was taking place in Queens, but you can see the skyline from Manhattan. State-of-the-art signal system on another 6 lines, 130 stations made accessible, state-of-the-art repair work at another 150 stations, and an additional 3,000 new subway cars, and 2,100 new buses. 2,100. So 5 years, and the following 5 years makes 10 years together. In a total of 10 years, you would have 4,800 new buses over 200 stations made accessible, a vast majority of subway lines with state-of-the-art signal systems, and I would say roughly about 4,000, 4,000 to 4,000 to 1,500 new subway cars. Fast forward on CBTC implementation plan. Prioritization based on capacity constrained lines, state of good repair needs. Work plan. There will be night and weekend closures on certain lines and to avoid full closure lines on weekdays. I mean, throughout 2013 and 2018, look what they did to the 7 line. They will shut down service between Queens and Manhattan just to get communications-based train controls installed on that line for 5 years now. They've been doing this for 5 years now, and it's 2018, and they're still not done yet. The CBTC may be installed on that line, yes, but it's not fully on yet until the work is fully accomplished. Simple as that. Look at Queens Boulevard. They will have some train lines. They will have all the express train lines along Queens Boulevard run local throughout the weekend just to do signal modernization, also known as communications-based train control, also known as CBTC. Fast forward on CBTC, 40 years from now, from less than 10 years. Now, before I get this, CBTC, communications train based train control, will take 40 years for the entire subway system to be communications based train controlled. But there's already 2 lines that's already been CBTC. Look what happened in 2018. Over 900,000 daily customers on CBTC lines. And those 2 lines are, as you can see, the L train line, which the 14th Street Canarsie line operates local at all times, which operates from 8th Avenue, 14th Street in Manhattan, all the way down to Canarsie Rockaway Parkway in Brooklyn. And the next line, where you have the you have the IRT Flushing line. By the way, the L train line is the BMT Division B line. You have the IRT Flushing line, which operates between Flushing Main Street, all the way in Flushing, Queens, all the way down to 34th Street, Hudson Yards, in Midtown Manhattan, near to the Javits Center. Yeah, about that 7th train extension, MTA really dropped the ball when they did not build a 10th Avenue subway station between 34th Street, Hudson Yards, and Times Square, 42nd Street. They should have at least put a station in between, because when you go into that tunnel, this feel like it's a long, steep ride into the tunnel between Times Square and Hudson Yards with no stop. With no stop. You should have at least constructed a 10th Avenue stop at the very least. That's what you should have done when you decided to extend the 7th train a little bit more downtown into Hudson Yards. In 5 years, 3 million daily customers on CBTC lines. You have, and these lines are the IRT Lexington Avenue line between 149th Street Grand Concourse to Nevins Street. And you got the I&D Queens Boulevard line, the E, F, M, and R lines, which is between Jamaica, 179th Street, and Jamaica Center, Parsons Archer, to 50th Street. And when I meant 50th Street, I meant 50th Street and 8th Avenue in Manhattan. In Manhattan. Yep. And oh, and here's the catch. CBTC for the R line right along here goes up to Queens Plaza. M trains goes up to 5th Avenue, 53rd Street. The F train, well, the F train for runs express, it goes up to Roosevelt Avenue. Sometimes it will run local in the Queens Boulevard line. It will go up to 36th Street in Queens. And you got the I&D Collier F line from Church Avenue to West 8th Street, New York Aquarium. You got the I&D 8th Avenue line from AC and E lines from 59th Street, Columbus Circle to J Street, Retrotech. And the World Trade Center, Chambers Street terminus for the E line. Okay. And the G line, the G train line from Court Square to Hoyt and Skimmerhorn Streets. 5 following years, after the first 5 years, 5 million riders on CBTC lines. You got the IRT Broadway-7th Avenue lines, the 1, 2, and 3 lines, Jackson Avenue to Atlantic Avenue Barclays Center, the B, D, F, and M lines from 59th Street Columbus Circle, 21st Street Queensbridge to DeKalb Avenue and J Street Metrotech. The A and C lines from J Street Metrotech to Ozone Park, Lefferts Boulevard. And that is the entire I&D Fulton Street line. You got your I&D Rockaway lines, I&D Rockaway A line, and the Rockaway Park Shuttle. Far Rockaway Mott Avenue, Rockaway Boulevard to Far Rockaway Mott Avenue, and Rockaway Park Beach 116th Street. And you got the entire BMT Broadway line, N, Q, R, and W lines from Queensboro Plaza to DeKalb Avenue. And that means CBTC will be installed on the Manhattan Bridge as well for both the I&D 6th Avenue line side and the BMT Broadway line side. Transform the subways. Yes, yes, yes. New station management model in 2018. Better root cause analysis of incidents in 2018. New subway cars. We're accomplishing that right now. Enable the completion of more work faster. Accomplishing that right now. Complete stabilization phase of subway action plan in 2018. That's being done right now. And if you guys don't notice, you haven't heard the news or not, the MTA has decided to make the 86th Street 4th Avenue station in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn ADA accessible. So that means they're going to get the contract signed, get construction work done, start getting construction work done, and install new elevators on the platform at 86th Street, which leads up to the mezzanine level, and again on the mezzanine level, outside of the turnstiles, from the mezzanine all the way up to the street level. Yes, and as for reimagining and transforming and reconstructing all the subway stations, that has been done on 3 subway stations along the R line, which are Prospect Avenue, Park Slope, 53rd Street and Sunset Park, Brooklyn, and the Bay Ridge Avenue stop in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. There are You got on the BMT Jamaica line, you got the two James E stations that have been constructed on the Manhattan bound, on the southbound side, which are the 121st and the 104th Street subway stations, both in Richmond Hill, Queens, has already been reconstructed. And there are some stations that are being in the process of reconstructing right now, which is the northbound platform of the 121st Street subway station on the J and Z lines in Richmond Hill, Queens, the 30th and 36th Avenue station stops on the N&W lines in Astoria, as well as the 72nd, as well as as well as the 72nd, 86th, 110th, and 163rd Street Amsterdam Avenue station stops in Manhattan along the A and C lines. Reimagining the bus network. Now, if you guys don't know this, I did a commentary last month about the 2018 Bus Action Plan. And this is just a brief summary of what we discussed in the previous commentary, which is redesign the bus network in all boroughs in the next 3 years, require effective traffic enforcement, give buses greater priority with targeted corridor improvements in 2018, speed up boarding, manage reliability, enhance our world-class fleet, pilot all electric buses, January 2018, and pilot the double-decker bus, May of 2018, which was last month. Fast forward on accessibility. All subway riders are no more than 2 stops from an accessible station in 5 years. More direct access-to-ride routes. New My Access-to-Ride app in 2018. Actually, this app is not a very bad idea. For those of you who are wheelchair bound and cannot reach a subway station within miles from here, you could actually use this new My AAR app. Download it onto your phone. I'm 100% positive it's available in the Google Play Store and in the App Store on the Apple phone. Download the app, use it, and if you're wheelchair bound and you can't access a subway or a bus, just get on the app and locate the nearest bus, locate the nearest access-to-ride car or whatever. Simple. Enhanced training for all employees, 2018. Improved elevator outage and alternative routing information, 2018. Accessibility advisory reporting to the President in 2018. Engage and empower employees. Get the right people in the right jobs with the right mandate. Show employees we value them. Embrace diversity and inclusion. Make it easy to innovate. Value and act on employee input. Employee survey 2018. Agility and accountability. Measure, track, report on performance. Overall process for faster, more effective project delivery. Streamline procurement. Increase capacity or innovation. And introduce dashboard for internal functions. Safe, security, and resiliency. Engage employees at REC Safely Confident Employee Hotline 2018. Support expansion of neighborhood police in 2018. Accomplish that. Keep the system secure. Okay. Increase resiliency from flooding. Yes. Strengthen sustainable practices. Okay. Agree with you there. Customer service and communication. Listen, commit, and follow through. Report quarterly on commitments 2018. Increase customer service training. Yes. And improve community engagement. Sure do. What's next? Move forward on near-term and organizational changes. Implement process improvements, and last but not least, advance 2020 to 2014 capital program. New York City Transit stands at a crossroads. It is time to move ahead, fast forward. And that is the end of the commentary. Now, I have to tell you guys this. This is just the presentation slides of the Fast Forward Action Plan. There is a 75-page in PDF form of the corporate version to this plan right here. I'll have the link to that in the description box down below, as well as the article. No, sorry. As well as the microsite to the action plan, and the video of President Andy Byford speaking about the fast forward action plan. And yes, what's coming up ahead, guys? I've been doing the counts and reviews and everything, and you guys have spoken. Coming soon on July 6, 2018, which is 2 years, 2-year anniversary of the Transportation Hub brand. The Transportation Hub, we have, the past 2 years, we had a YouTube brand. This brand had established a YouTube channel, a Google Plus page, a Facebook fan page, and a Twitter page. But coming soon in July of 2018, the Transportation Hub brand will have an Instagram page. So be on the lookout for that. Instagram page is coming soon. And also, last but not least, guys, make sure you guys rate, comment, share the video, share the commentary, and subscribe to the Transportation Hub YouTube channel for more hot, fresh daily content. And also to please like the Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, follow us on the Google Plus page, because we are lit out here. Anyways, this is Norman with the Transportation Hub commentary, signing off. Love all you guys, and I will see you guys at the next stop.